Okay, this video is for my own personal use. If you want to watch it, have fun. But this is my garden, May 2021. My garden apprentice is in school, so I'm just quickly going to put down all the stuff I got going here. This is the remnants of the greenhouse. We took it down. Goodbye, darling. You were very helpful. She was always meant to be temporary. She's going to get re-put up in a different spot. The backyard is my staging area, much to my husband's dismay. It's probably got another 2 weeks before it's totally empty, but these are all the plants I started that are all outside now that need homes still. Giant pile of sticks. Over here is my herb ladder. I just got kind of strawberries up there, thymes in there. There's some kale, some zinnias, random pepper plant I could not, or tomato plant I could not give up. I have a lemon tree this year. I've never done a citrus tree. We'll see how that goes. Some dill. This barrel's got coneflower in it and some lettuces. Oh, there's my shadow. This is my very first bed, big bed. It is 16 feet long, 3 feet wide. It has got, let's see here, beets in the front. Those are all little baby beets. And then I have determinate peppers planted. And I'm going to put a trellis up this on these black things right here. And I'm going to have determinate pepper or tomatoes growing up the back. And then these beets will all be out by then. I have golden beets, Detroit red beets, and one other kind that I can't remember off the top of my head. Got some bunching onions, some red cabbage. My leaf lettuce is all right here. That's like my second harvest. I've got a bunch of head lettuce to eat first, and then we'll go here. More tomatoes back there. This is my random pot collection. They don't have a home quite yet. Wheelbarrow lettuce. And then over here, on a taller one, back here are all of the peppers. So the front row is all garlic I planted last fall. That'll come up shortly. The back is all peppers. Hot and sweet. And they are planted in twos because they like to be planted with a friend. And then the trellis up the back, there are peas planted, or beans planted in the back, and I'll have beans growing up the back. I think they're black beans on that trellis. This is the chicken coop. I just have herbs and alyssum, some snapdragons in these planters. There's the chickens. Morning, ladies! They are on day 3 of being outside and loving their new coop. Here's Ava's sandbox. Those are all her peas back there. We did stick a very sad looking melon plant right there. We'll see if it works. And in the corner back there, you can kind of see there is a sugar pie pumpkin. I did grow pumpkins last year up there. This bed over here is also 16 foot. It's on the other side. That matches. This one's got peas kind of in the corner here, and Brussels sprouts, and delicata squash, which is looking a little bit rough, but I think they're going to make it. And then I have got back here, this whole back row, these are all my heirloom slicer tomatoes. They're all indeterminates. They grow really tall. I grow them up this thing here. I single stem them every year. And then in front, I have got some kohlrabi, and all of my head lettuce that I started really early. So this will be my first lettuce I use for salads. We'll pull all this and eat this first, and I'll replant that with beans in about a month. Got an oregano plant, some more kohlrabi, and this is my green stalk planter. It's got all of our strawberries in it. This is our first year for strawberries, so they are okay. Oh, you got to pick all the flowers off, and we won't get berries this year. You pick the flowers off so the roots stay strong. And then I got a little bit of a mess going on over here, but all these blocks have just got flowers. Or these little lettuces. This is a Tom Thumb lettuce. It's so damn cute. Then I got a bunch of basils here in the front here, and then zinnia, and then there are 6 more heirloom slicers to trellis up that fence. some allium. Here's more of my staging process and work that my husband's so fond of. All right, go down the driveway. And right here, these two ladders are holding a trellis with these buckets. The first three are, oops, I'm walking the wrong way now. These first three are all melon, like cantaloupe melon. I forget which variety, let's see. A French one that I'm not going to say, pedigree, I think. And I've got three in there that have fingerling potatoes. And I have three Blauhilde violet beans growing there with some cosmos. This first planter is full of more lettuce planted at the same time, and then there are Parisian pickles behind them. They're little small pickles that kind of turn out like little snacking pickles. And by the time I harvest all this lettuce, these pickles will be all in this space. This big long row of grow bags is got a cattle panel behind it, and they are all cherry tomatoes. Every basket's got a cherry tomato plant and a basil plant. So in theory, the cherry tomatoes should go up. I'll time to that cattle panel and keep them kind of trellised in the beginning till they get higher, and I'll prune the basil in the front. Underneath is kind of one of the very first things that Brent and I did when I moved in. We built this block wall, and we have his grandma's succulents in here, and they're doing beautifully. And then I've just got like some dill and some zinnia, some alyssum, parsley, just odds and ends. Here's my Mother's Day frog I got. Here I have got the other half of this. See, there's two of them that kind of match up. This one has more lettuce in the front, and then in the back it's got garlic that I just tucked back there. And then there's a row of 4th of July tomatoes, which are kind of a salad size, kind of. They're not as big as a slicer, but they're definitely a full-size tomato. Brent likes those for his lunch. Got some pots here. This is the garden that Mason made last year, and it's full of greens. Cabbage on the bottom. This guy looks awesome. This is the best looking cabbage I have. And then spinach. I have never ever gotten spinach this big. Apparently this is the home it likes. I have kale in the middle, so as I pull these spinach, I got a couple more kales that I'll just kind of pop in their spots. The top's got all kale in the middle. And then this is a Brussels sprout. That one's doing really good. There are 3 others that are okay, but that one's way bigger. And then Mason puts his mammoth sunflowers back here every year and grows them up the house. A couple more cabbage down here. This flowering thing is tatsoi. I grew it for the first time this year. I started it really early, and it bolted really early, so we didn't get to eat any of it. But it looks really pretty, and the bees like it, so I'm leaving it alone. I got a couple more garlic in there, a whole bunch of irises. And then I took cabbage and planted cabbage around this whole outline of the bottom of our bushes. Now, here you can see a couple right there. There's 1, 2. Some of them worked really good, some of them not so much. Got these 2 planters out front. There's one, and they're mirrored with the same thing. They've got lettuce in them, some baby geraniums that are struggling a little bit, some alyssum, kale, and lettuce, just colorful stuff. Same thing right here. This poor geranium is really struggling, but it's got some new growth. That'll be okay. Back here are my irises, and tulips in the front, and then more cabbages. Pretty much all these bushes have got a cabbage under them. I did one as an experiment last year and really liked it, so we're doing it again. Back here I added all this to the front of our house. This is in our front yard. There are 2 Amish paste tomatoes there. And then back here, this back row behind the bushes, I have got silver slicer cucumbers. And then in front of them is a bunch of garlic. Like I said, that garlic will get pulled. And then I also have some hardy geraniums. I've never grown them before, but I ordered the bulbs. They're supposed to not need to be pulled in winter climates during the winter. We'll see if that's true. Back over here in the corner, I also have got 2 more tomatoes. These ones are both Amish paste as well. If we flip around, I just got this little section up front. I have got Figaro dahlias. Ugh, that one looks rough. Planted along this with a couple peony transplants we just got. And then I've got some dwarf zinnias here. And same thing on this side, more Figaro dahlias and a matching peony. And then that's where those Amish paste ones are. And then we end up over here on this side of the house. It's kind of like my pot collection. I have got pot-like containers, not like pot-like drug. I've got yarrow in here, which I've heard can get really, really big. So I'm keeping mine in a pot for now. I've got some purple peas right there. This is calendula. Back in that back row, you can't really see really good. Hang on. This whole back row is also tomatoes. These are all my paste tomatoes, mainly San Marzanos, and there's some Opelkas. Those are her sauce. There's my thyme bucket. I think that's year 3 on this thyme. Chive. There's some catmint struggling in there. I don't know if it's going to make it or not. And then I'll come this way. And I've got this teepee. I planted beans in there. There's a little bit of alyssum. Got some random flowers in here for the butterflies. This is a hibiscus. And I've got some snapdragons on the edge. Everyone keeps telling me to be patient, that they're the last thing to bloom. I bought them last year. They were beautiful last year. And they're supposed to come back up. So we'll see if they do. I got some dianthus in this bucket with the owl here. And this is columbine. It's super pretty. Look at that. I've never seen a color like this. And this one's really purple. And over here, this one's a little more pinky. I think they're super pretty. They are planted with some bee balm. So that should be really, really, really pretty shortly. This area is all just kind of tucked in with succulents and different kinds of sedum. This is a coreopsis. There's 2 of them right there. Those get really big and then they stay in bloom all summer long. These tulips will all die back. This poor sad bush needs to be trimmed badly, but we're kind of waiting to see how many more buds it gets. And then this used to be my shady herb garden, and then the city cut the big trees down, so now it is kind of going a little bonkers. It's got some sedum and some succulents in here too. On the back row, there are some lilies that come in right here. And I've got some irises in the back. And then phlox. I've got some snapdragon babies I planted, more phlox. And then that's lemon balm. And then there's daisies. And there's some black-eyed Susan kind of in the front there. And that back's got a giant mustard. Isn't that cool? That was the free seed from Baker this year. And there's mint in that bucket too. And some more columbine. These ones are a different color. They're kind of like more of like a peach. You can kind of see them. There you go. And then the front of this, that's that lemon balm again, has got, that's my lavender coming up. There's some sage coming up. My giant oregano plant, that guy's 3 years old. And I got another thyme plant right back there too. And then in the bushes, I just have little stuff underneath. This right here is a hardy geranium that I stole from Emily, some sedum, a couple pretty succulents. Here's my lupine. This is insane, this lupine. I grew this from seed last year. I got a little bit of flower on it, but it was very small. And this year, this is what's going on here. It's insane. And behind it is its insane cousin, the delphinium. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous bright blue. But it is also way bigger than last year. So I think I'm going to have to tie that one up a little bit. I threw some snapdragons in there. And I got a big pot of calendula coming up too. This area is really difficult. Let me back up and show you, because there are bird feeders up there. And they drop seed down here and stuff grows. So I do have some irises here. And I'm growing some Fantasia sunflowers. They're a Polish sunflower. In here, they're more bushy than tall, so I'm hoping that they get bushy and kind of cover up this area from all the things the birds are dropping. And I just put some random things in here. I got some snapdragons, some painted daisies, some zinnia, cilantro, kale, more zinnia. That's a big oregano that's coming in. And some chamomile. And there's a little tiny marjoram right here. I don't know if it's going to make it or not. We'll see. And then last year I put all the rest of my garlic in the front of this bed, so these are all going to look pretty ugly for a little bit as they start to die off in the end of June here, and then I'll harvest them all. And then down in the crack, last year I grew marigolds in the cracks. This year I'm doing alyssum. So this is all alyssum. I'm really excited to see how it looks. We'll see. The back layer back here, I got these 2 buckets. I'm going to grow up this old baker's rack, and I'm going to grow hyacinth beans. They're not edible. There's bright purple ones. They're supposed to be good for butterflies and hummingbirds, so we'll see how those go. And then up in this hanging basket, I got a lot of hanging baskets, but I'm just going to show you this one because isn't that beautiful? That's a nasturtium. It's so pretty. Okay, bird bathy thing. And then I've got a bunch of containers that I put with things just to feed butterflies. Milkweed, dill, I put some zinnias back there. I've got butterfly weed, threw a couple snapdragons, just pretty much stuff to feed the bees and butterflies that I can ignore because it's kind of a pain in the butt to get to. And then in this corner, I put another trellisy thing up. And on this side, I've got a bucket, and I've got some beans in there. So I think good mother Stalliard beans. And then over here on this side of the bush, I did make a bed out of block back here. You can't really see very well good. But I've got 3 Kajaria melons back here. And they are looking a little rough. There's one more back there. There you go. But I hope that they're going to be okay. These 2 bins with dirt actually have ranunculus bulbs in them. I've never grown them before. They're very pretty. They probably won't flower this year. Probably be next year. Just 'cause I got a late start on them. Tithonia, that's supposed to be really, really big. We'll see how that goes. It was a bummer for me last year and did absolutely nothing. There's my second hibiscus that's done nothing. Alyssum in this corner right here. I've just got kind of filled in here too. I've got some more of that mustard, some painted daisies, some alyssum. I don't know how I missed alyssum until this far. I've got a coneflower in there coming out underneath. Got some snapdragons tucked in. This big bucket has got a teepee in it. And this is a new cherry tomato called Berry's Crazy Cherry that we're going to try with a couple flowers. Got some alpine strawberries in buckets, some kale, some flax. Same thing over here, alpine strawberries and some kale. And then this is my row of flowers, this fence. There's coneflowers all throughout, about 2/3 of the way down. I've got tulips in here, and I've got some Star of Bethlehem that is really well contained here because it can't go anywhere. And then I plant a back row of sunflowers and a front row of zinnia every year. So you can see the sunflower babies are already all coming up. That's the back row. And then on the front, you can see here, well, that's a good one. Here comes all of the little baby zinnias. So that'll get really pretty. Trellising them last year did not work super great. I don't know how I'm going to do it this year. We'll find out. This is Mason's garden. He only wanted to do watermelon and beans this year. So he has got sugar baby watermelon plants, which are looking all right. And then right here in this crazy space, he has got a little teepee that doesn't really want to stay. And he's going to grow some beans up there. So we're going to try that and see how it goes. And then this is our big family garden. This is what Ava says she's doing this year with me. She did not want her own garden. She just wants to help here. So this whole row all the way down, the back is sugar snap peas and the front are little finger carrots. I do not thin my carrots. I just say good luck. May the strongest survive, and we go with that way. I've got some Detroit red beets here. And then this next section is all squash. I have got, let's see here, 2 Slick Pick yellow squash. I've got a sugar pie pumpkin because I had an extra space. I don't know how that's going to go up here. We'll find out. Got an 8-ball zucchini. And then back in the corner, I have a Table King acorn squash, a winter squash. So I've got 4 that will be ready a little earlier. This guy will be a little bit later. In the middle on these 2 big things, I've got 2 spaghetti squash plants right there. They get huge. They took my garden over last year, so I've given them a lot of space. In the space behind them, I planted a row of Tanya's pink bush beans. They're supposed to be pink beans. Those are all for Ava. And then I've got more squash on the other side. This one's a Table Queen acorn squash, a winter one as well. And then I've got 2 Peter Pan scallop squashes and 2 Black Beauty zucchini on the end. Along this end, in a vertical row up this way, are my purple potatoes, red potatoes, I don't really remember. And on the other side, down there, I did the exact same thing with our regular Thank You Con Golds. Right here through the middle are going to be 2 rows of beans. This side is yellow beans for Busha to make butter bean soup. And the other side of that concrete, those are all dragon tongue. They're purple beans, and they come up and they're for fresh eating. And then I've just got some flowers kind of in this middle section right here. Those are all just flowers and pretty colored kales and stuff. And then, oh, look at me. I'm a video genius. Everybody say hi to this next row are melons. So I have got Minnesota midget melons here. I grew these last year and they were super cute and they did really well. And because they're so little, they work really good here in the cold. So I got 3 of them per trellis. I'll add some string to go down to kind of help them as they get bigger. So there's 3 Minnesota midgets. I have 3 Sugar Baby Bush watermelon here. I have 2 Sugar Baby watermelon here. And on the end, I have 2 more. I think they're called Queen Anne's pocket melons. So I've got half regular melon, half watermelon. And they will be able to sprawl forward here because this front row that I'm going to show you, all these guys, are all radishes or turnips. They're all things that I'm going to harvest in the next week. So they'll be able to all kind of sprawl forward. Yeah. And that is the end of our garden tour. All right, I'll do it again. Maybe every month I'll do it. That'll be good for me to check it out. Perfect. All right, bye.